All right. So we're going to talk about a couple astrological transits that are happening over the next couple weeks that are really big. One specifically that's happening tomorrow, Thursday, July 9th. And then we're going to dig in a little bit to the new moon because I believe that that is a piece of this story. And we know that all of July's transits are massive. We've been talking about it for a long time. If you follow astrology, if you've been listening to astrologers, we've really been talking about this month. And the thing with the astrology this month is that it's not that it's bad. Like most of the transits that are happening are sextiles and trines, but it's the nature of the planets that are in communication with each other. And we know that sometimes change can be incredibly challenging, change can be uncomfortable, but change is the thing that moves us forward. When we move through that, when we support ourselves, when we're able to change our habits, our routines, which is part of this really big transit that's happening, or I would say piece to the bigger story. So, all right, well, let's just get into it. So tomorrow, July 9th, Venus is moving into Virgo. And on its own, this happens, every 18 months, not that big of a deal. But when we look at the bigger picture of astrology, which is why I wanted to come and make this video, this kind of is a big deal because it's really supporting us. So I don't want to like throw around the words like quantum leaping and timeline shifting. And also, I think that the power of this month is giving us an opportunity to really step into a new timeline, to really like grab this energy and work with it and move through it and really shift our perspective. Because we have Mercury retrograde in Cancer. Mercury has been retrograding through water signs since Scorpio of last year, and it will be retrograding water signs until next year. And then it's going to be dipping into fire signs, and then it'll be fully in that for the next year or so. But we're having Mercury retrograding through water signs right now. And specifically when we talk about Cancer, so Mercury retrograding through Cancer is really asking us, what is the quality of our life? Now, Mercury, in my opinion, is like the most underrated planet in astrology because Mercury is our mind. And we know from all sorts of ancient texts. I mean, look at yoga, the oh my gosh, what's the word I'm looking for? Oh my gosh, obviously the Bhagavad Gita talks about it. The Kabbalion, that's the word I'm looking for. All of these ancient texts, all these modalities, even looking at human design, the premise of human design is to get out of your mind and into your body. So there definitely is something to our mind, the power of our mind. And so Mercury retrograding in water signs, specifically Cancer, is asking us, what is the quality of our life? Because what we perceive is what our life is, right? So what we focus on, we call more of. And the mind, and Mercury is the mind, its communication is what we're focusing our attention on. So Mercury retrograding through Cancer is asking this big question. It's showing us our emotional patterns, and it's bringing us back to those childhood wounds, those childhood narratives, and the conditioning that we took on to be our own that created these emotional patterns and habits that have created who we are today and how we deal with things today and what we're moving through today. This is also very much about the mother, right? So a lot of mother wounds could be coming up with this. But let's go back to Venus in Virgo. So tomorrow, July 9th, Venus is going to be moving into Virgo. And again, in itself, it happens often enough. It's not that big of a deal. It's not like Pluto moving into Aquarius that we're never going to see again in our lifetimes. But where Venus in Virgo is really powerful is that Venus is our values, it's our relationships, it's money, it's self-worth, it's all things that are the material. But Venus is very, very much about our values because we know what we value and how we value ourselves, how we value money, how we value others through the quality of relationships, typically, because our relationships are our biggest mirrors in life that we call into our life. Virgo is our health, our habits, our daily routine. So this is such a beautiful opportunity to ask ourselves, what are my goals? What do I value? And does my day to day reflect that? Because when we want to call in something new, when we want to step into a new timeline, when we want to use the astrology to timeline jump and quantum leap and completely radically shift our life, we have to get really honest with ourselves and look around and be like, okay, do my surroundings reflect the version of myself that I'm calling in, am I clear on my values? Right? Do you have I've been saying this for years, like we need to get so clear on our values, so clear, because if you have nothing else, like this time is calling for massive discernment. We have Uranus moving through Gemini, which is like shocking us, awakening us, but it's also like completely transforming the way that we perceive things. It's like social media. We have Pluto crumbling things in Aquarius, right? Which is also technology. It's like AI. It's like all of these things. We have to be so clear on our values to be able to discern what we find to be our truth and what isn't, what feels aligned to us and what doesn't. So, a really big question with Venus moving through Virgo is going to be, does my day to day, do my habits and do my routines support the life that I want to call in? If you want to have a six pack, if you want to have a certain body type, if you don't go to the gym every day, if you don't eat right, if you don't do any of the habits, if you don't implement any habits or routines that's going to get you there, you're going to continue to repeat the patterns and the lifestyle of somebody who doesn't have that life, right? Like a really great question, maybe a reframe is, the version of me that has that thing, how do they act? What do they do in their day to day? What does their routines and habits look like? If you want to achieve peace and like nirvana, but you're not meditating every day and you're not doing yoga and you're not, practicing all these, 8 limbs of yoga and things like that, like you're not going to get there probably. But if you are doing those things, there's almost no way that your outer reality won't align if you're doing the work, right? So that's a really big piece of this Venus moving into Virgo. Also, on top of that, so again, we talked about Mercury being retrograde and how that's going to be bringing up these wounds, probably mother wounds, feminine wounds, right? Because Cancer is feminine. Cancer is ruled by the moon. Cancer is our emotional world. Venus also holds our emotions too. There's a piece of emotions there. And so it's really going to be bringing up those things. Again, not for everyone. There's nuances, of course, but the mother wound in Cancer tends to be those narratives and things that we held on to ourselves. There's also in the book, Moon Phase Astrology. Under the new moon in Cancer, they talk about the Persephone and Demeter dynamic, where they're so enmeshed almost in each other, but there has to be this separation, and that sometimes that separation is painful. Like Demeter was like searching the world when Persephone was taken down to the underworld, and then she spends half her time with Demeter and half her time with Hades, and ends up being the queen of the underworld and kind of like owning that, depending on which story you listen to. But there needs to be this sort of separation, because the stories that we took on, we're always seeking love. Children are seeking love. That's like their number one like need, right? Is to be loved, on top of food, shelter, all the things. And so what stories and narratives, what did we do to keep ourselves safe? What did we do to keep ourselves receiving love as a child that we're repeating in adulthood? So that's happening. Venus moving into Virgo is also conjunct the South Node. So we have our wounds coming up, right? We're looking around and we're assessing like, okay, I value this thing. This is my goal. This is what I want to move towards. And yet my life looks like this. So where am I not aligning? And it's conjunct the South Node. The South Node is our past. The South Node is what we find comfort in. The South Node is things that we've done before. We're very comfortable in our South Node energy because we've done it, whether you believe in past lives or not, but we've done it over and we've done it on repeat, that we're comfortable there. So Venus is conjunct the South Node. We want to be moving towards the North Node, but we're kind of in this comfortable place with the South Node. So it's kind of highlighting that. It's also square to Uranus. She's also square to Uranus, which is really unpredictable. This, there are high expressions and low expressions of everything. It's really how you perceive it, how you experience it, and how it shows up for you in your life. I have Uranus opposite Venus in my natal chart. So it's a little bit different of an energy, but it's still kind of a challenging energy between these two planets. And it is very, again, unpredictable. It is dynamic, right? There's a lot of change within that. It's like one day you feel this way, one day you feel that way. Venus is also money. So your relationship to money, like maybe one day especially in Virgo is very organized. Virgo is the perfectionist. Virgo needs things to make sense. So maybe there's a part of you that really craves security and stability and like hoarding your money almost in a way. And then the next day you're just like, money's not even real. Money's a fake thing. Money's a whatever, right? So it's like, where do you fall in the spectrum of that? It's also in a yod with, especially during the new moon in Cancer, Venus is in a yod with Neptune in Aries and Pluto in Aquarius. And Venus is the apex. So it's like this, it's like super hyper fixating the energy on Venus. Venus is the one who's going to be expressing to the outward world the energies of Neptune in Aries and Pluto in Aquarius. It's coming out through Venus. So Venus is very, very active over the next week. And I really wanted to just make this video to prepare you a little bit for that. So finding in your chart where Virgo is, what's going on in that area of your life. For me, Virgo is my second house. So who knows what this is going to look like, but second house is typically your money, material, resources, self-worth, all those things. So the first house is you, yourself, your physical body. Your health is wrapped up in there because it is about your physical vessel. Second house is self-worth, money, resources. Third house is short distance travels. This is communication. This is siblings. This is like close neighbors. Fourth house is your inner world, your home life, your ancestors. Fifth house is play, fun, creativity. It could be the lighter sides of dating, right? That kind of beginning phases of dating. Sixth house, health, daily routines, habit, work, your day to day. Seventh house is your relationships, long-term relationships, be it romantic, friendships, business, but it houses your long-term relationships. Eighth house, drugs, sex, rock and roll, the occult, and other people's money. This is all the things that we don't quite want to talk about. Ninth house is long distance travel. This could be physical, but it also could be like traveling in the confines of your mind or expanding out of your mind rather. It's education, philosophy, non-dogmatic religion. 10th house is career, your public persona. 11th house is your friends, the collective, your community. It is the humanitarian, technology, and then the 12th house is sort of all things hidden from us, right? This is very spiritual, psychic, hidden type of energy. So identify where Virgo is for you in your chart. And then Cancer as well, what house Cancer is in, because then we have our new moon in Cancer on the 14th. And there's so much going on with the new moon in Cancer. I'll be back with another video on the new moon in Cancer, but I just wanted to come and kind of talk about this energy as Venus moves into Virgo and how you can kind of work with it in your chart.